So what is up, guys? Suda the Savage back, and today we are here with my Saints and Falcons recap. Today was a good day. We get the season sweep over the division rival Atlanta Falcons and first team in the NFL to clinch a playoff spot. Let's go! It's a good feeling. There's a lot to get into this game. We barely won 21-16, but anyways, gonna do my usual general recap of the game, then get to individual player stats, and then give the final grades. So without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright, so starting out with a general recap of the game. So, Falcons, they get the first ball, and immediately our defense goes to work as we force a quick 3-and-out, and then the Falcons defense gets right to work as they also force a quick 3-and-out, so... And then, of course, they get the ball back and we force another 3-and-out. So, 3 straight 3-and-outs to start the game. Oh, joy. I was thinking, please just don't be an offensive slop fest. But things were getting better. Saints, we had a long drive, and one of the biggest play of the drive was on a 3rd and 6 on our own 35. Taysom Hill runs out. No, he runs for 43 yards, gets the Atlanta 15. I was wrong. It was a 1st and 10 on the New Orleans 42. And then on the very next play, Taysom Hill throws his first career NFL touchdown right to Tre'Quan Smith. And it was a pretty good pass. It was just a dot. Tre'Quan Smith was wide open, so a good start. And then the Falcons, they get the next ball, and, well, they burned us a couple of times in this drive. But fortunately, we forced the 53-yard field goal, which was good by Younghoe Koo. And then on our very next drive, we also go on another pretty long drive, and then Will Lutz ends up trying to kick the 40-yard field goal, and it is no good. Now, he actually did get injured on the play, which was slightly scary, but anyways, didn't matter. Actually, it did matter. So, Falcons, they get the ball, and then we force another punt, and then on our very next drive, we get to a 4th and 7 at the Atlanta 36. Normally, I would say go for the field goal, but with Will Lutz possibly hurt, we decide to go for it on 4th and 7, and unfortunately, we missed, and it's a turnover on downs. And anyways, then the Falcons on their very next drive, they once again tear right down the field, but then end up just kicking a field goal. So Saints, we get the ball. It's 1st and 10 on the 25, and Alvin Kamara just goes on a long 37-yard run. It almost got held up. It almost could have been just a 2-yard run, but he was able to break a couple guys' ankles and get to the outside and just ran. Very next play, so we end up driving a little bit more down the field, and then on a 3rd and 3 on the Atlanta 11, Taysom Hill throws a dime right to Jared Cook. It wasn't as easy as the first touchdown he threw, but it was good enough. So Falcons, they get the next ball, and they go on another long drive down the field, but with time expiring, they had to settle for a field goal. So we give up 3 field goals. My thoughts so far is that the defense has been a little shaky, compared to the last couple of weeks where it was an absolute lockdown unit. We're allowing them to kind of run all over us a little bit, so it had me concerned. But anyways, we get the ball to start the second quarter. We go on another long drive, and then a 1st and 10. Alvin Kamara runs it right in for the 11-yard touchdown. So we're up 21-9, so I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm laid back, thinking that, all right, this is a good situation that we're in. We forced the Falcons to punt, and that is already a great feeling. Then, unfortunately, we go on a bit of a long drive, but we had to punt, sadly. Then we force a 3-and-out, and they punt, and then they force their own 3-and-out, and they punt. So they got the ball. It's 2nd and 10 on their own 15-yard line, and Matt Ryan ends up fumbling it. Now, at first, we forced the fumble, we pick it up, but they ruled it incomplete, so we choose to challenge the play, and they did rule it a fumble, and we got the recovery, so that was very good. And then on the very next drive, we fumble. We were 5 yards away, and Taysom Hill, he saw a ton of guys coming for him, so he makes the boneheaded decision to try to throw it while guys are about to tackle him. If he had just laid down, held on to it, we probably could have kicked a field goal, maybe scored a touchdown. It didn't end up happening, so it is 21-9, and then on the very next drive, they just completely burn us. Like, we had a couple of chances to get some stops, but unfortunately, we took a couple of bad penalties. Like in this game, we were kind of going back to our old form, just getting burned on either getting burned or taking bad penalties. So already I was pretty frustrated. And then on our very next drive, we punt, and I'm already not happy because we're blowing it. Our defense is reverting back to its old ways. It's just not a good feeling. So we get them to a 3rd and 3, and then Calvin Ridley just completely burns Lattimore and gets a gain of 27. So yeah, we had 2 times on this drive where we got them to a 3rd down, but then they burn us on the very next play just to get a big gain. And eventually, we get them to a 4th and 9 on the New Orleans 20. Matt Ryan throws a pass to the end zone, just a heave and a prayer for Jones, and it is incomplete. Then we have a 3 and out because we tried to run out the clock, did a terrible job at that, and yeah. So then the Falcons, they get the ball, and then 1st and 10 on the Saints 39. Actually, no, I'm going to go back to the 2nd and 10 because he throws a ball for Calvin Ridley. They have no timeouts. We were not able to tackle him inbounds. If we could have tackled him, we could have just ended the game right there. But no, Calvin Ridley, he runs around a little bit, gained 22 yards, and then he runs out of bounds. So smart play by Calvin Ridley, and then they send a heave and a prayer up to the end zone. We tipped the ball. It's kind of just tipped around a lot, but Malcolm Jenkins did like one last tip in the air just to keep it in the air for a couple more seconds before it landed dead at 0 seconds. They actually had to review it to make sure that they didn't have to put time back on the clock. They didn't, and we win 21-16. That was quite a bit. And anyways, on to individual players. All right, and now on to individual player stats, starting out with Taysom Hill. So today, he actually looked like a pretty competent quarterback. He looked like he could maybe be the guy. I'm not sure if I would really rely on him in the playoffs. I think I'd probably want to go back to Breeze just for the experience. But, you know, Taysom Hill showed a lot of promise. Threw for 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But he did have 2 crucial... He actually fumbled the ball 3 times, lost one of them. So I'm a little... I just need him to fix that up a little bit. That's all. But other than that, he played very well today. In terms of rushing, Alvin Kamara was the lead rusher with 88 yards and a touchdown, followed by Taysom Hill with 83 yards. Latavius Murray, we definitely did not use him as much as we did the last couple of weeks, but he ran for 17 yards. Tommy Lee Lewis, we got him back. If you forgot who he was, if you remember the no call on the Rams, he was the wide receiver that Nickel Robbie-Coleman absolutely decked. He got 1 end around for 16 yards, then Traquan Smith had 3 rushing yards. But anyways, then on to receivers. Lead receiver once again was Michael Thomas. He completely tore apart that Falcons secondary for 9 receptions and 105 yards. Y'all can't guard Mike. He was making clutch catches downfield, a lot of contested catches, a couple of toe taps. He's still one of the top receivers in the league. I'd say he's top 5. Probably a little bit more towards 4 or 5 because right now currently I have Hopkins. My top 5 right now would be Hopkins, in no particular order. I'd say Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas. That's my top 5 right now. But anyways, other receivers, we had Traquan Smith. He had 3 receptions for 42 yards and a touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders, he had 39 yards. And Jared Cook had 28 yards and a touchdown. So, good game overall. You know, in terms of defense, it was a little shaky, you know. There was times when we were forcing 3 and outs, but today we kind of reverted back to our old ways. We took 10 penalties for 79 yards, like total team. Most of them were on the defense, and a lot of them were just, once again, like bad pass interference penalties. So, like, we reverted back to our old ways, but we still ended up pulling out the victory, forced a turnover, and that's pretty much it. So, overall, I'm going to give the offense a 7 out of 10 for today. You know, could have been better. You know, we had a lot of flat times, so that definitely holds me back of giving us a higher grade. And I'm going to give the defense also a 7 out of 10. You know, was good, but, like, made 1 too many mistakes today. You know, it wasn't enough to cost us the game, but just not enough. Anyways, but then on to the Falcons. Matt Ryan definitely had a better day against New Orleans because last time he got sacked 8 times. This time he only got sacked 3 times. He threw for 273 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. So, you know, it is what it is for him. In terms of rushing, Smith, he barely registered, only had 36 rushing yards. Brian Hill had 18 rushing yards, and Todd Gurley, he had 16 rushing yards. So they only got 70 rushing yards. It's what I like to see from the Saints, you know, us completely stuffing any team's running attack. But in terms of receiving, Calvin Ridley just had a fun day. 5 receptions for 108 yards and no touchdowns, but he did well. He was just able to mess with our secondary with guys like Marshawn Lattimore, Patrick Robinson, P.J. Williams. So I really didn't think having no Janoris Jenkins would be this bad, but turns out Janoris Jenkins, I give him way too much crap. I give way too much crap to Janoris Jenkins. I'm sorry, man. You know, sometimes I let my emotions get the best of me, and I don't really give you a full chance, so I'm sorry about that. Anyways, but in terms of other receivers, Julio Jones, he was rather limited today. You know, only had 6 receptions, but he did contribute 94 yards. Other receivers, Robert Gage, he had 51 yards and a touchdown, and that was pretty much it. You know, for your offense, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, you know. There was, you know, we mustered you to a lot of field goals, you know. I'm holding you back because you were never able to go for the kill. You only got 1 touchdown in the game. You did a lot of damage, but I just saw way too many flaws with your offense, especially with no rushing attack. The defense was good, was meh. It was a lot like the Saints, except they made a couple more mistakes than we did. So not much else I can say about that, so I'm going to give their defense a 6.5 out of 10. So Saints for today, I'm going to be giving them a 7 out of 10. It's a well-deserved 7 out of 10. We made the playoffs, which is awesome, so don't break my heart again, you motherfuckers. But anyways, I'm going to give the Falcons a 6.5 out of 10. Just a little, like, they were almost at the Saints level, but just not there. On to the out. That is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to see all my other prediction videos and all my other Saints recaps, links to all that will be in the description below. Sadly, for me and Hayden, for our podcast, we didn't get a new episode this week. That's okay. We're going to be back next week with a brand new podcast. We got a lot more news, especially in the NBA, which is why we didn't really film last week because, like, usually we try to get, like, as much information for NBA as possible because that's, like, one that we do a lot together. Anyways, enough about that. Subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you drop a like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you thought of this game. Who do you think was player of the game? Who do you think was absolutely terrible? Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok @SuitableSavage. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation, playoff bound. We out.